help you a little bit with factoring. So your next assignment, you're going to be factoring some trinomials where the a term is greater than 1. Okay, so the ones that you did previously, we had a terms that were not greater than 1. So for example, x squared plus 2x minus 3 factors to be x plus 3 times x minus 1. A term is 1, so we could use that shortcut. So I'm going to show you the way I taught you in class earlier in the year, and I'm also going to show you a different way, and you can choose which way you like best. So I got 4 problems here to practice with you. I would highly encourage you to get out a piece of paper and work these out with me. Okay, first way, number 1, is we're going to factor by grouping, like I taught you guys when we were back in school. First thing you always want to check is if there's a greatest common factor. So if I look at these 3 terms, right here, here, and here, we're looking for a greatest common factor that they share. In this case, there is not one, right? There's no factor that they share. So we just move on. So we're going to continue to factor this by grouping. So how did we do that before? What we did is we set up our eye chart, right? A times C was up top and B was on the bottom. Okay, and then, so A times C, so here's my A, here's my B, here's my C. So A times C is 18, and our B term is 11. So we're looking for a combination of numbers that multiply to make 18 and add to make 11. So let's see, 6 times 3 is 18, but that does not add to make 11. But it looks like 9 times 2 does. So that's the combination. That's how we want to split apart our B term. So I have 3x squared. Instead of plus 11x, we're going to say plus 9x plus 2x, and then plus 6. And then what we're going to do is we're going to group the first 2 and the last 2 terms there. And let's keep factoring. Okay, so the GCF of this first group is going to be 3x, which leaves me with x plus 3, because 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 3 is 9x. Now let's look at the second group. The GCF there is just positive 2. So positive 2, and 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. So this factors to x plus 3. And then what is multiplying x plus 3? 3x is, and positive 2 is. So we're going to put those together and say 3x plus 2. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is factoring using grouping. That's grouping method. Okay, so you can factor that way. Number 2, let me show you another way you can do it as well. So let's start first. Number 2 here, you can see that we always want to look for a GCF, right? So let's look at our terms. And you can see that, yeah, we definitely have a GCF here. It looks like it might be, it's definitely 3. It could be 6 as well. So I should have a calculator handy on me. Let me check here. So let's see. 18 divided by 6 is 3. If I do 96 divided by 6, I get 16. And 30 divided by 6 is 5. So yeah, 6 is our GCF, not 6K, because our last term doesn't have a K. So we're going to factor out a 6. Oh, that's too big. Okay. So once I factor out the 6, what's remaining inside? It's too big as well. Let me try again. Okay, so 6, and then so we know that what? 6 times 3k squared is 18k squared. 6 times 16, 16k. So 6 times 16 is 96, and then 6 times 5 is 30. Okay, but we're going to keep factoring. You can see we still have a quadratic here on the inside that we need to factor. So let's keep on going. So you can see our A term is not 1, right? So we could use that grouping method like I just showed you in number 1, Or we can use another method. Okay, so here's another method. I've never showed you this before. It's just kind of like a little, I guess, a little trick, if you will. You're essentially doing the same exact thing as you are, like if your grouping, it's just organized maybe a little bit different way. We're going to take the A term and we're going to multiply it with the C term, kind of like how we do with factoring, right? So our A term is, having some trouble here, sorry. Our A term is 3. What is going on? It's not letting me write. Okay, I think that's better. So our A term is 3, and we're going to multiply that by 5. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. So I'm going to rewrite this as, now my A term is gone, so k squared minus 16k. And then what? 3 times 5 gave me 15, right? So I'm essentially moving that A term to the C term and multiplying it. Okay, now look, now I can use my shortcut because A is 1. So let's factor this the way that it is. So k times k is k squared. And can we think what times what is 15? That adds to make negative 16. So hopefully we're thinking minus 15 and minus 1. And we're not quite done. So since we did that little trick there, we're going to have to multiply, divide each of these numbers from the original A term, which was 3. So 15 divided by 3, that was our original A term, and 1 divided by 3 is 1/3. Well, I can rewrite this as k minus 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then since this is a fraction, 1/3, I'm going to multiply both of these terms by 3. So if I multiply this by 3, that cancels. Multiply 3k, that gives me 3k minus 1. And now we're good. And then don't forget the 6 that we factored out in the beginning. So that's going to be our final factored answer.